I'm Jared Haynes, and this is Yeti Paintball. Today I want to talk to you about the CRBN Zero Pro goggle. Testing out the CRBN Pro goggles, see what we think. So this goggle right here is going to run you somewhere around $240, but for that price, you're going to get one amazing feature-packed goggle along with some extras. So let's go ahead and dive into the review right now. So when you order the CRBN Zero Pro, you're going to get a carrying case, which is very, very protective and strong. You can put a decent amount of weight on the top of this and it's not going to crush down on top of the goggle. You're going to get two different visor or top attachments. So this is the magnetic visor attachment, and that you'll see does not have as much air openings up top, but you will also get inside the package a different visor top. And this one is totally aerated so that you're going to be able to get a bunch of air ventilation through it. Now, I've decided to just run this in the configuration where you can just snap on the rain hood because I live in Washington, so we get a lot of rain. Therefore, it's nice to switch on and off. And with the thermal lenses that the CRBN Zero Pro runs, I've had zero issues with any bit of fogging. So it is very nice if you're playing in hotter climates to have the aerated one. However, it is not a necessity. You can run this with the more restrictive one that works for the rain so you don't have it dripping down the inside and still works amazing. You get a little carrying bag that's going to come in the case, nice normal carrying bag, and then you get an additional lens. So the lens that I ended up going with, and a really nice little lens carrying case as well. It's kind of like a stretch fabric material. I ended up going with a smoke lens, which the clarity on these lenses is phenomenal. In the past, I had always really liked the Dye i4 and 5 lens setup. I've thought they were really clear and didn't distort around the edges. And these CRBN lenses are very similar. They're a little bit smaller profile, but they work amazing. And then up here on the top of the carrying case, there's going to be another zippered area. It came with a little cleaning thing and then some extra screw baggies. They give you a couple of replacement screws. And then I also keep a microfiber towel up there. So that's going to be everything that comes with the goggle. Now let's dive into some of the facts about the goggle itself. The first feature I want to touch on with the CRBN Zero Pro goggle is going to be the coverage option. So there's a more coverage, which is what I ended up going with, and a less coverage option. Now the less coverage option basically is going to bring this front piece up on your chin a little bit. For me, that's going to make it closer to the feeling of like a Dye i4, i5 mask where it's just right on that chin line. I prefer having a little bit more protection. I hate getting, hit right across the bottom of the chin and not having any protection there. But here's where CRBN really stepped it up. So I have been testing out and run the JT ProFlex X, and theirs, if you look at the geometry, is going to be a longer chin design, but the main thing I've noticed is this rubber right here is much stiffer and pronounced out off the chin compared to the CRBN, which is just really soft, plush rubber, I guess, if you could call it that. So what that does, let me throw this on here, is it makes it when you're playing with a gun like this, you can really get your face up there and feel the back of the gun so you know exactly where it's at. It gives you just enough space so that you have breathing room. And down here on the bottom on your chin, you can get that air to flow out, but it still keeps the mask close enough. It's a blunt face design where you can get the marker right up next to your face, being tight amongst those bunkers. As where, if I take this off, and let's switch over to the JT mask right here. This one, you have literally 2 inches of space in front of your face, and the marker has to sit quite a bit farther off. Now there is definitely a big price difference. You're gonna be looking at somewhere around, $100 for one of the ProFlex X's, compared to a couple $100 for the CRBN Zero Pro. But with that, this mask is something that should last you years and years and years. The build quality, the rubber material is really well injection molded and built, and it gives you that up close and personable feel while still giving you that little extra edge of protection so that if you do catch one off the chin, you have that padding there to make sure that it's not going to ruin your day or make you start thinking about the bruising or whatever while you're out there playing more. The next thing I want to talk about is going to be your view from within the goggle. So this is a really hard thing to show over the camera. So I'm going to kind of explain it from model to model. And I don't have my Dye i4 or 5 mask here right now. Those I have out with a couple buddies on the team. However, I'll be able to describe it. So on a Dye mask, the lens is a longer shape. And so you don't see the thermal layer on that. However, what you do notice on the Dye mask is the nose ring that comes up. That I found often reflects against the lens, depending on the color that you go with, and that can be pretty distracting to me. So that's one of the reasons I've actually gone away from that mask style. Now when you get into like the JT ProFlex and you put this on, it's fairly decent, but it is restrictive. You don't notice the thermal layering at all, but that's because the body, the outline of this is really thick, so that is just blocking that view. When you go to like a more traditional JT, this thing's got the plastic front end. I've had this for a long time. It's pretty much the same thing. They've kept the lens design the same over the years. And then when we move in now to the CRBN, the padding, extremely plush, so it lets the mask kind of suck into your face, and you can see a tiny bit right here of the thermal molding. You don't notice anything across the top, but right here coming down, when I first put this on, you could notice a little bit of that thermal molding from inside the goggle. However, you very quickly don't notice that once you start playing and you're just focusing on the field. So it wasn't something that I found was distracting. It gives you a slightly larger field of view than like the JT mask because they don't have the thick overmolding, but in turn you do see that black strip right down the nose a tiny bit when you first put it on. Again, didn't affect my playing at all, but when you do first throw it on, that is one thing that you will notice. Last couple things I want to touch on with this mask are going to be the chin strap. Is a cool design. It's just a magnetic chin strap, so that makes it nice and easy for clicking on and off and not having to deal with buckles if you are running some sort of gloves. The strap back here for the head has 2 different silicone sticky, little rubber layers on there. So that makes sure it gets good grip on whatever's on the back of your head, beanie, or your hair. But it's not enough that if you are just running this straight onto your hair that it's pinching or pulling it. It's a pretty comfy design there. And then the last thing, obviously one of the most important things as well, and that's why I wanted to close the video out with it, is going to be the lens change system. So it's very easy to take your strap right here. You're going to lengthen it out a little bit on the inside of the mask. You're going to give a little bit of slack right here. I'm going to do this kind of while watching. So give a little bit of slack right inside here. And then there's a buckle that you're just going to turn, and that pops that strap out. Now that this strap is loose, you would do the same thing on the other side, and then this lens will just push right out the front, and you're able to bring in whatever other lens color you want, slip it in there if you want high vis, something for the sun to shade it down, or you're going back to a clear, or I took one right here in the mask last time I was out playing. Got a little bit of paint right under the lens, so I was able to just kick this out super fast, towel that out, put it back in. It only takes you probably 30 seconds once you become proficient with it to get it out, do your clean, and then maybe another 10-15 seconds to get it in there. So it's really fast, something you could do in between games. If you're playing on a tournament, you notice you're switching sides and now you're gonna be facing the sun, but the other way you're not. You can actually switch out your lenses in between matches, and you would have no worries that something's going to get stuck or wouldn't work. It's a very quick, intuitive system. You just want to practice it a couple times and it'll be no issue. So I hope you like this quick review on the CRBN Zero Pro. Out of all the masks I've tried right now, this is my favorite in 2024. This thing has great rubber, gives you good feel. One other thing, I've got a young daughter and she does not like, skull looking masks. So this is one that looks professional, I guess you would say. Like, it's not a scary design or anything like that. So if you do have younger children that maybe don't like a scary looking mask over your face when you're talking to them, if they're out there watching you or playing with you, this doesn't have that. It's a very professional look to it. And it's a good weight and feel. So I hope you like this review. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel for more content like this coming out soon. Thank you for watching.